Hey, Birchouse friends, welcome back. So this week's question comes from Uggla Nightforge. They've been friends of Birchouse for just about a year now, um, and they're blacksmiths. They have built most of the hardware for all of our shields, um, and they're just lovely to work with. We really do enjoy working with them. Um, and on top of that, they are the inspiration for the Hey Birchouse series. So they have a series, 1 minute questions with Uggla, where Scott answers a question about blacksmithing, or he shows off a blacksmithing tool or a technique, and they're always a fascinating watch. And when they started that series, I was like, oh man, I wish I would have thought of doing something like that. And they're like, well, go do it. Um, and so I spun it a little bit differently, so I wasn't doing the exact same thing, and that became the Hey Birchouse series. Um, but definitely go check out their 1 minute interviews. I'm going to put a link in the description where you can find them. Um, it's always their 1 minute interviews are always a fascinating watch, and they're worth following because they're just really cool people. Um, Having said all that, this week's question, Adrian asks, "Hey Birchhouse, what is your favorite weird tool?" Uggla's is his telescoping magnet. I want to know more about the telescoping magnet. But on that note, my favorite weird tool is, let me just show you. So here we have it, my favorite weird tool. And this all has to do with shield construction, which is appropriate because Uggla makes all of our hardware for our shields. Um, and I didn't have to think about this question too long because I knew pretty much immediately what weird tool I wanted to talk about. So let's talk about shield construction for a moment. So a large majority of shields throughout history are just wood planks glued together. Um, there are historical examples of shields with a dovetail joint, which means that one side of the plank has a lip that runs down it, and the other side has like a trench that runs through it. And so you take that lip and those trenches, you put them together, and you get you kind of puzzle pieces together. But the bigger majority of shields are just flat planks glued end to end. Um, and when you do that, I found you didn't have to clamp it together. You need to put pressure on it to get the tightest bond possible. And we do that with clamps. I have a bunch of these really long clamps. So what ends up happening when you're clamping them together, because there's no dovetail to hold together, as you put pressure on both sides, they pop up. And so I struggled for a long time with how to keep those from popping up. And eventually I just took the weights off my weight set, my bench set, and started placing them in different spots. But as shields get bigger, as you get them into like a 3 foot width, 4 foot width, the more pop up you could have, especially if you have pieces that are already glued and cured. You could then put too much force and they snap. And so then I just started gathering weights wherever I could. So I have some kettlebells, I have some barbells, and I'm always on the hunt for weights so that I can weight my shields down. Um, so yeah, this is my favorite weird tool. That was a great question. Thank you so much for asking. If you ever have a question for Birchhouse, comment below with "Hey Birchhouse," ask, and we'll answer in a future video. In the meantime, we'll see you all next Wednesday.